So I live in Texas. I won't say where I live in Texas because some of y'all comments are real crazy. But it is cold as shit here, and millions across the state don't have power or don't have water. And right-wing media and conservatives know exactly who to blame.
The blackouts that are in Texas are being made worse by the failure of wind turbines, many freezing in the icy weather, cutting output in half. And it's raising questions about the Lone Star State's increasing reliance on renewable energy.
Now, folks, this is all more proof that green energy just is not ready for prime time. You get sub-freezing temperatures, and wind and solar just don't work for power.
If this Green New Deal goes forward the way that the Biden administration appears to want it to, then we'll have more events like we've had in Texas all across the country.
These wind farms that are frozen, they're an eyesore, they're not efficient, they're not delivering the energy that we want.
The windmills failed, like the silly fashion accessories they are, and people in Texas died.
Newsflash. The Green New Deal hasn't passed. And Texas has been one of the reddest states in the country for decades. Yeah. This is not green energy's fault. This is a red-run state, a very dominantly red-run conservative state. But that's how the conservative media works now. Blame everyone else, no matter what. COVID out of control, it's the governor's fault. It's not Trump's fault. The Capitol gets stormed, it's Antifa. And now the power grids fail, and it's Democrats and green energy. And yes, I have seen this now viral image of a windmill being de-iced. First, that's not Texas, it's Sweden. And it's not even from 2021. It's from 2014. But as I see it, there are three reasons as to why this is happening. The first is deregulation. So Texas is off the national grid, so we do our own energy thing here, right? And as you can see, it's not going so well. We're actually cut off from the rest of the country. El Paso, which is a part of the state that is still on that national grid, is doing fine. While the rest of us are, free from the deregulation and free from power and now water. This also means that Texas has been able to, avoid federal guidelines on winterization, right? A lot of the winterization that a lot of the country enjoys to stop this kind of stuff from happening just doesn't exist in Texas because, again, no regulation and, power companies wanted to go the cheap route. Who saw that coming, right? Also in Texas, we spend a lot of time talking about some dumb shit. And by dumb shit, I mean identity politics.
Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick announced the Star-Spangled Banner Protection Act he says would ensure the Star-Spangled Banner would not be threatened in the Lone Star State again. The announcement comes a day after news broke Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban stopped having the national anthem played before games this season. Patrick's office said it would be among his legislative priorities this session and would call for the national anthem to be played at all events which receive public funding.
That is Republican Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick a week before the storm, spending crucial time not getting people ready, but on an anthem protection bill to force sports teams in the state to play the national anthem before sporting events. But now, there are no sporting events because everything's been shut down. But yes, that is what folks like Dan Patrick, what Republicans in the state spent crucial time doing. But honestly, it's not just Republicans who are playing politics here.
The energy capital of North America cannot provide the energy needed to warm and power people's homes in this great state. We are nearing a failed state in Texas.
Nat Lev Beto. I think he's great, and he's doing a lot of good stuff in this crisis. But Texas is pretty far from being a failed state. All right, so we're actually leading the country in COVID-19 vaccinations. We have one of the largest economies, not just in the U.S., but in the world. We have a larger economy than Russia, I believe. And so the idea that we are a completely failed state, a little out there. But yeah, we get caught up on all these political fights on the left and the right constantly instead of spending time on issues that actually affect, real Texans' lives, like winterizing and getting our power grid ready for potential failure. And now, we're having these crazy things like, out in Burger King, where people are waiting 4 hours in line to get food. 4 hours in line for Burger King. I don't know what part of the country you're watching from or where you live, but yes, 4 hours for Burger King. Now, again, Texas is, doing, obviously, the third reason why I wanted to get this, the third reason why I think this has been such a big deal, is because, let's be honest, Texas has had a massive, massive winter storm, right? I mean, this is one of the worst storms to ever hit this state. As you look all around, this stuff like this never happens in Texas. The last time we had this kind of snow was 1949. We just don't get snow like this here. We don't have plows. We don't have salt. We don't have, winterization. We don't have anything to help with this. And I grew up in Virginia, a little fun fact, and we'd get snow in Virginia all the time. And we were ready for it. We had plows, we had all the infrastructure, but every few years would be overwhelmed and would absolutely cripple the state. Natural disasters are just that, disasters. They're hard to prepare for. So instead of looking for this is some reason why we shouldn't embrace the Green New Deal, maybe we should look at it as exactly why we need to get serious about climate change. More bad shit like this is going to happen in the future. But the last thing I wanted to mention on this topic, as I have to go find water here pretty soon, is that I think what's been lost in all this is how Texans have been helping Texans. Take this article. Let me pull it up for you here real quick. Take this article here. This is a great, great story. So a favor driver actually got stuck delivering food to customers. So what had happened was she, while the storm was going on, she in her last run of the night, she went to go deliver food to these customers, and they lived down a bit of a hill. The car actually slid down the hill. The brakes didn't work. Just kept sliding and actually hit some shrubs or something. But yeah, she delivered the food and tried getting out and couldn't get out. And so the people who she delivered the food to were like, well, it's too dangerous for you to hit the road. Why don't you just stay here? And she's been staying with that couple for days, right? They opened their home to her in the middle of this storm. Someone they had no clue, someone who was just delivering food to them, and they gave them shelter from the storm. That is Texans helping Texans, and that's what we do here, right? My Facebook feed is full of people offering food, water, power, and shelter to anyone that needs it. Sometimes the bad brings out the worst in people, but sometimes it also brings out the best as well.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for watching Citizen Pete. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, click that little subscribe button, maybe the like button, and hey, maybe just leave a comment. I want to know what you're thinking. What do you think about all the politics, the news, and all the stuff that's going on in our country?